So again, I want to say thank you for being a difference, for making a difference in the lives of so many people. If you could hear the stories that I have a chance to hear on a week-to-week basis, they're amazing. And there's a whole group of them that we will get to you that have been written on our website now. You can actually go to our website under our customer review section, and you can type in a review. From what I understand, you can also videotape on a camera. You can do yourself or your kids or your grandkids. You can actually videotape that and download that onto our customer review section of our website. So you go to customer reviews, and if you have something you want to share, please share it, because it inspires all of us to keep going. I mean, you're a great inspiration to me too. And again, I want to thank the doctors and the health practitioners who are recognizing the value of Cellercise and what it can do for people that have various different issues, whether it's knee problems, hip problems, back problems, shoulder problems, digestion, elimination, high blood pressure, blood sugar issues. I mean, thank you for looking into this and for sharing it with others and for helping to support us. And if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. Okay, so tonight, it's going to be a little shorter, I think. We're going to we'll do the customer reviews. We've got a few really nice ones. And some questions. If you have a question, please enter it. Justice is behind the computer, and he'll feed those questions to me. If there's something specific you're looking to accomplish and just haven't reached it yet, go ahead and comment. We're all here to support each other. And if there's anything, or methodologies, or different examples, or clarification of things, that's what we're all about. Cellercise is helping you to reach your greater health potential, because we all have one. Okay, so let's start. My son asked me, where does poo come from? I was a little flustered, but did my best to explain about food, stomach, intestines, digestion, etc. He looked confused, then stared at me in stunned silence. After a few seconds, he asked, "And Tigger?" Okay, got that. I got a couple of jokes. So, after 3 weeks of my no-carb diet, I had to see my doctor for digestion pains. He told me I was lactose intolerant. Okay, why do people in Athens hate getting up early? Because dawn is tough on Greece. I hope you got that one. All right. One more. Have you heard about the new crackers you can see but you can't taste or digest? Yeah, they're called holograms. Grams, right? Okay. Okay. Let's read some customer reviews. Cheryl writes, "Hi Dave, I wanted to tell you what the Cellerciser is doing for me. First of all, I have been Cellercising for about 6 weeks now for 10 minutes, sometimes a little longer, each day. And one thing I've noticed is that my hair is growing, and I've not been taking anything other than my regular vitamins. So it has to be the Cellerciser. From the circulation and following your workout, Dave, well, mine is similar. But I've noticed in doing the twist back and forth that I have much better elimination, in which I know it's from the Cellerciser. I feel so much better. And what I like is, if I decide to work out on the Cellerciser a little longer some days, I love it. And it's just a normal routine for me in my daily life to get out on the Cellerciser every day. At first, I was going to the gym, but too frustrated having to clean the machine every time someone used it, or just too many people in one place. Where in the privacy of my own home, I have the Cellerciser. That to me is much better and not time consuming. Thanks, Dave, I love it, and I would not be without it. And thank you, Cheryl. That's appropriate for tonight. Mary writes, fantastic product. My granddaughter uses this every day and has lost 37 pounds. Thank you for sharing, Mary. Denise writes, we bought our rebounder almost 20 years ago, and it is the best fitness equipment we've ever purchased. It has kept us in shape and nimble throughout our fitness journey over the years. The quality of the rebounder is amazing, and we have only swapped out a handful of springs. Dave Hall and his staff are top-notch when it comes to customer service. I recently called in to order a replacement attachment to the rebounder mat, and David answered the call. We had a wonderful chat, and he showed such care and authenticity when it comes to customer service. Thank you, David, for providing a great way to stay in shape and for such a high-quality product. And thank you, Denise. I think we read this one recently. Michael writes, hi, Dave. I want to share my experience with the Cellercise family. I was diagnosed with heart failure a couple of years ago, and I've been trying to get better naturally since. During a conversation with a friend on a radio program, I heard a caller talking about the benefits of rebounding. It didn't take me long to start a search. Initially, I tried Amazon and through the haze bought a popular rebounder, which was quite good. However, I came across Dave Hall and was hooked. I researched all I could, including watching his old videotapes. Then I decided that I needed a Cellerciser to make a good go at getting better. So the rebounder I bought was returned. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I've had the Cellerciser now for around 6 weeks and noticing a difference. I can climb 4 flights of stairs in my house before I used to use the stair lifter halfway and drag myself the other 2 flights. My muscles are stronger. I can Cellercise now for nearly 20 minutes straight. When I started, I could only manage a few minutes. 4, I'm sleeping better and longer. 5, I want to do housework and little chores. 6, and amazingly, my heart feels a lot better when I'm walking. I'm aiming to improve my heart and come off medication and live a normal Cellerciser life. Thank you, Dave, for inventing Cellerciser and for being on the phone to offer advice and pep talks. Absolutely marvelous. And anyone out there with heart failure, grab a Cellerciser and start bouncing. This one sounds familiar to you. Plazas, my favorite rebound. Oh, and thank you, Michelle, for sharing that. Plazas writes, my favorite rebounder, so much fun jumping. Little Skipper writes, I'm still enjoying Mr. Rebounder app senior routine number 8, and I agree. If all I can manage is a quick health bounce, awesome. Robin writes, I'm excited also. I just received my Cellercise a couple days ago. Let's do this. Dino writes, Dino Flex Ball, very cool. I need help with broken wrist. Thank you. Thank you, Abigail. Marianne writes, thank you so much for helping to make the world a better place. Thank you, Marianne. You're all involved in that. And we're here to be a difference. Petro writes, there's nothing better, exclamation points. All capitalize this. Thank you, Petro. Tessa writes, it is absolutely the best rebounder on the market. And puts a nice little heart. Thank you, Tessa. And speaking of that, I want to talk a little bit. As many of you may have noticed, we're sold out of half-full Cellercisers with bars. We're sold out of tri-full Cellercisers. The last time we spoke, I said we're going to sell out, and we are sold out now. We have only 20 of the Streamline Balance bars left. They'll be sold out probably by tomorrow. So they're dropping quick. We have some half-full Cellercisers left, but we're going through those pretty quick too. And the reason, and I'll share this again, I think I shared it last time, is that the steel we use is not cheap tube steel. It's not cheap steel. It's heavy duty. Everything about the unit is heavy duty. So it takes us a little longer to get those component parts because our suppliers can make the cheaper parts a lot easier, and there's a great demand for them. We have to stop production to produce our parts. The steel in our spring, we've been negotiating with the company for 2 months. We finally, after investing in well over 100,000 springs, they've agreed to produce more units for the beginning of April. So the steel is going to be made the beginning of April. Then we're going to go to the spring company where they have to stop production because their molds can't handle our springs, our steel and our springs. So they got to change out the molds to the tungsten steel molds. and then they'll produce our springs. Our springs are a high quality spring. They do not stretch out. So this is an investment that you can have for many, many years. Many of us have been using the same unit for well over 20 years, and they hold up just great. If you're willing to wait, it's going to be a couple months before we have those units available. But we currently still have the half-fold Cellercisers without the balance bar available. I don't know if you can see that back here. And we have about 20 balance bars left. So if you know anybody who's interested, tell them they can go in. They can still get one until we're sold out. And you're the only people I've told how many balance bars we have left. You're the first to know pretty much everything. If they're willing to wait, they can pre-order now. So they can go online, they can pre-order a trifold or a half-fold with balance bar, and if they do, they will lock in the current price. But when the shipment comes in, the cost has got to go up because our costs have gone up. That's just kind of the way it is. So they can pre-order, lock in the price, and lock in their unit. So as the next supply is completed, they'll be on a first come, first served basis until if and when we're sold out again. All right, so thank you, and thanks for understanding. But like I said, we do have some half-fold Cellercisers still available. We've got a few of the streamlined balance bars still available, and if you know somebody wants to get those, they can. Kelsey writes, wow, that's why I recommend Cellerciser so many times to friends for the health of the lungs during sickness and for asthma. I'm so grateful for this technique reminder. What a breakthrough for our health. And thank you, Kelsey. And Jess says, are you raising your hand? No. Okay. Okay. Questions. Andrea says, I started exercising with my rebounder and I can't thank you enough. All my body and lifestyle is changing. For me, doing physical exercise was hard because my knees hurt a lot, but not with my rebounder. Also, my bowel system is working as never before. Thanks, 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 with a half dozen or more exclamation points. Thank you, Andrea. So these are still some reviews. Christine writes, I have recently bought a Cellerciser from CH Services as I needed to keep working all my joints, etc. in gentle exercise. I soon came across the problem of finding the exercises which would really help a specific condition. I came across the problem of same thing. Okay, for the condition that I know, I had epilepsy, fibromyalgia, severe digestive and weight problems. I initially followed the beginning program and looking good, feeling great. That's Carol Truman. Customer of ours for many years. She wrote about us in her book too. Each single day I had improvements. My thinking was less foggy. I had a lot less nausea, better bowel function, and less noisy. I gradually lost the bitter taste in my mouth whenever I wake up. I started to sleep better in 2 ways. The time I sleep was spent sleeping and not worrying and hurting, and I wake up less times in the night. I had pins and needles in my legs that often wake one. Well, they stopped. Yippee, all capitalized. This is good, Christine. Now I've got a sore right foot. The Cellerciser is helping my body get rid of aches and pains with its increased circulation of goodies, but the soreness increases whenever I jump or Cellercise. So I jump only twice a day, and I play my recovery. And I'll play my recovery. I love it. I'll try to see what exercise I need. I thank you, Dave Hall, and all those who believed in the concept of Cellercise, bringing it to what it is today. Thank you all, and please take care. And I want to thank Rachel and Stephanie and Sally and Holly and so many more for all the work that you're doing to get that information out to the public. So again, thank all of you. Thank you. Cindy writes, I recently bought the trifold Cellercise, and within 2 to 3 days, the red raised pus-filled spots on my rear end started healing up with no more, gone. I was just waiting for some more eruptions to occur shortly after because I constantly battled this. And trust me, my husband knows and sees the scars on my rear end and the breakouts and bleeding tears on my skin. Well, it's been 1 month now doing just 10 minutes bouncing and some of the routine stuff that David Hall shows us in his 10-minute workout about 2 to 3 times a day, and no more raised eruptions anymore. And we've read this one before, but I'm glad that Dalium included this tonight because it's so appropriate to what we're dealing with. I couldn't believe it, but my husband said, wow, this must be the Cellerciser you are doing since I've done nothing different in my life. Anyways, also my digestion and my husband's digestion are so much better. We didn't know having a bowel movement should be so easy. We are regular now, and sometimes we go 2 times a day. Also, I used to get frequent diarrhea, and now this twist bouncing that Dave Hall teaches us, I believe has really made my bowels normal again. I've been battling this diarrhea for so long, like 5 years or 8 years. I am sharing this all with you so that everyone will know that this Cellerciser is different from all other rebounders. And I believe it's the best, trust me. I do a lot of research. And also, what rebounder company do you know of that you can get wonderful, humble, truthful people who would chat with you online or call on their phone number and talk with you? They are really not trying to sell anything, since the Cellerciser really sells itself. They just want you to get blessed with all the benefits, and so do I. That's why I'm writing this. And to top all this off, my husband, who is sort of a skeptic, after seeing my red spots disappear, tried the Cellerciser for 10 minutes only one day in the morning, and that day, all day, he did not have any bottom foot pain, plantar fasciitis. And that's a benefit of Cellerciser, is that it creates gentle movement with support to help increase flexibility in the fascia and more movement in the foot. You just start off gently. He constantly needs to roll his foot on a golf ball to try to ease this bottom foot pain, midday and the end of the day. I remember this. This is a great review. He carried this golf ball in his pant pocket at all times for years. So the next day, he did this routine again on the Cellerciser, and he felt so good, energetic, and no foot pain. My husband has so much energy, like me now, and he is doing so much for me, like wash my car, which he has always been too tired to do. But now the Cellerciser has given him energy, oxygen to his cells, etc. So there you are, women. Get your husband Cellercising and increase our energy and health. He says he is helping with the dishes, etc. Ladies, if your husband is tired and burned out, or you are tired and burned out, please get a Cellerciser. And who knows what else in your body will get improved and eliminated. Lastly, we're getting more things done every day just by adding the Cellerciser to our daily regimen. It gives us energy versus taking away energy. I used to go on my stationary bicycle and jog. I would get a little energy rush, but then get some aches and then get tired. But with the rebounding on the Cellerciser, we actually are oxygenating all our cells so that we have all day energy, constant and steady. We can breathe deeper too. Any questions, Justice? Are we on the right channel? I just want to make sure. Okay, good. Good. Dominique writes, I first investigated getting a rebounder about 2.5 months ago when after a very slow recovery and many attempts at trying to get fit, which ended in much pain and discouragement, a friend suggested I get a mini tramp, as he had read that they are supposed to be the safest, most efficient way to get fit and healthy. Another very good friend of mine had also been told by her naturopath to get a mini tramp to flush her lymphatic system and help her heal from a very serious infection and abscess. So I started looking into it. Wow, was it overwhelming. There were tons of websites and ads from Walmart to eBay pushing some kind of tramp or another, and no way to know who to buy from. Then I went to check the buy and sell online, and there were a couple for between $5 and $25. I could not understand how there could be such a great discrepancy in price, anywhere from $1,000 to as little as $19.99 brand new. I started to look for websites and blogs that had commentary and reports on different brands. There were equally as many. I came across your website, along with websites from many other units, all claiming that they were the best value for the money, some claiming that others were overpriced, that you could get the same balance and quality unit for $40 as you could for $100. Wow, was it confusing. The more I looked for unbiased reports, the more confused I got until I began to see a general trend. While many companies criticized others for poor quality and many individuals did the same, the worst that was said about the Cellerciser was that it was expensive. The funny thing was that once I compared the prices, with the exception of the Urban Rebounder and the really cheap sports store and retail store brands, the price differences between the Cellerciser and many of the other top-selling makes was not at all that significant. And when I read about the superior quality of the Cellerciser from the same people who criticized the unit for its cost, it didn't seem to make sense to me that one would spend a few dollars less if you get the best quality for not that much more. Now, while I was doing all this investigating, which took me about 2 to 3 weeks, I was using my friend's trampoline, a $50 model that she got at Canadian Tire. It was awful. I hated it. Everywhere hurt. My head, my back, my hips, my C-section. Incisio 9. Which I was very slowly and painfully trying to recover from. I talked to my good friend who had been using hers for about 4 months. She said she got hers at Walmart. And she said that at first she found jumping on it uncomfortable, but now she found that it only bothered her head and neck for the first few minutes. She figured this was normal. What I read about the better quality models was that they should not cause pain. And I remembered what you wrote about your father's experience in injury on a cheap model. So I bit the bullet and bought one of your units. While I waited for it to arrive, I continued to look for testimonials and followed rebounding blogs to see what people had to say. Again, I could not find anything negative about your unit except the comments about cost. I contacted one blogger and asked him why he had reviews about almost all known rebounder models except yours. And he said it was because yours was more than he could afford, and he refused to spend money on an overpriced unit when he could get the same superior quality with Rebound Air, another company, which was so much cheaper. Well, I checked, and here in Canada, the price difference was only about $20 Canadian. So I emailed him back and told him that it made no sense for me not to spend the extra $20 to get this Cadillac of units. His final email was to tell me that customs and shipping would get me in the end. I called your office and spoke with Jerry, who was very kind, and told him that had recently purchased a unit and was worried as I was really not enjoying my time on the current tramp that I had and was having a lot of discomfort. He promised me that the Cellerciser experience would be better or my money would be refunded. Well, that day I got the unit and I was ecstatic to pull it out of the box. By the way, not extra charges came with the unit, debunking the Urban Rebounder blogger's predictions, and I got right on it in the living room. I had to fight my children off so that I could go on it. What a difference. I dreaded getting on the cheap one, and once on, could not wait to get off. As soon as I got on this one, I was having fun, as my children begged me to get off so they could have a turn, and I kept shooing them away because I did not want to get off this one. It was too darn much fun. Since I've gotten the unit, I have missed about 5 days and 2 months plus. I am on it pretty much every day for between 10 minutes to an hour, depending on how busy my day is. I feel stronger, my abdomen is healing and feels stronger. And while I cannot seem to drop the extra inches in weight that I'm carrying, the benefits to my immune system and digestive tract have been remarkable. Well, hang in there and keep doing it. It works. It's like a pendulum. It takes a while to swing back to the other way. I have suffered from irritable bowel syndrome since grad school almost 15 years ago and have not had much positive results since I was first diagnosed. The symptoms would come and go, and only a very restrictive diet seemed to alleviate the pain associated with it, until I started rebounding. But most interesting was just recently when my whole family came down with a horrible influenza, including the baby, high fever for several days, and then an awful cough that had me convinced that a couple of them had whooping cough. When the last two of the children were finally coming to the end, I thought, now I'm going to get it, because that is how it always happens. Sure enough, I woke up a few days later with a headache that made me feel like the top of my head would explode with fogginess. I could not shake it all day. By 4 in the afternoon, I had to do something, and I could not go to sleep, as it was just about time to start getting dinner ready for my family. So I decided to go downstairs and jump for a while. Ouch, it hurt like heck at first, but within 2 to 5 minutes, my headache was gone. My sinuses were clearing, and I never did get the flu. I am convinced it is a result of the stronger immune system from Cellercising daily. I was getting little sleep and was surrounded by runny noses. When I did sleep, it was usually for about 1 or more sick, feverish children. It was with 1 or more sick or feverish children. No matter how tired I was, I made a point of forcing myself to get on the tramp at least once a day while everyone was sick. Anyway, this is my long-winded way to say thank you for all the work you've put into making the unit what it is, for the research and the time you've devoted to helping people like me on the road to health. Especially thank you for personally calling me and answering all my questions and providing me with the game plan to deal with the obstacles still ahead. As I mentioned on the phone, I truly believe that all households should own a Cellerciser, and I would like to reiterate that. Imagine the strain off the overtaxed health system, the reduction of absenteeism due to illness, and the general improvement of people's well-being. I know that when I start my day on the Cellerciser, I am a much nicer mom. I'm much more patient teacher, a much more patient teacher to my children, and a much more productive person in the home. It even helps me with my prayer life. As in making time for Cellercise, I usually also use the time to pray the rosary, which otherwise does not get done in the craziness of my often overly busy days. Once again, God bless you and your family, Mr. Hall. I look forward to continue correspondence with you, and I hope one day soon to be able to write you and let you know that my weight struggles are also under control. And please pass on my thanks to all those who have been so helpful. And thank you so much for sharing that. It was long, but you know, Dominique, I think people need to hear it, because it's tough making, the world's a confusing place today. It really is. And having some guidance and direction can be helpful. Okay, so we've got some questions. I just have them. Yes? I'm just looking for where a question is. What? There we go. All right, Kara writes, any tips or tricks for dowager's hump, curvature of the upper spine caused from forward head posture? Thank you for all your informative videos. And yes, Kara, we answered this question very recently, and that's a simple technique where you stand on the Cellerciser, stick your chest up, roll your shoulders back a little bit, and pull your chin in. And that will straighten out your alignment. And when you're in this position, just gently bounce up and down so the muscles start to flex around that new alignment. It's the muscles and the fascia, all those connective tissues, that's going to help support that alignment. But start up gently, a little bit at a time as you work back. Mark writes, please talk about and demonstrate the strength bounce. Mark, the strength bounce was something I used to teach as jumping higher, but you don't need to do that at all. I don't, okay, and my strength is fairly decent. And this is all I do. But when you're on the Cellerciser, when you alter the angle of your body in different positions, that's when you're really going to build your strength. When you jump higher, you're floating. Your body's not really working, it's floating. The sweet spot on the Cellerciser is a couple inches above the mat and then into the mat. That's where the cells are expanding, contracting nearly 100 times or more per minute. So it doesn't take a lot of height. If you feel these muscles, you're going to feel how they are flexing everywhere in your body with an increase of weight on them. And it's pretty intense. If you want to get more or increase the strength to certain areas, we have the Mr. Rebounder app that will take you through and show you different strength exercises that we've added to it. And you can look at our website as well as our YouTube channel, and you can see the different movements for stomach. Or, I mean, this is a lot more intense than for building strength than just jumping higher. So I hope that helps. This past Friday morning, I fractured my right tibial plateau.
They can't see your feet.
How come?
I'll adjust the camera a little bit.
Okay. Thank you, Justice. If you need to move it back some, you can.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
okay. All right.
Do I do it again?
Okay, so again,
Your head's cut off, so I'll fix that one.
move it back some. Yeah. Just kind of, there you go. How's that look?
My head's stuck off.
Still off? Really?
Yeah, even more.
You should be able to adjust it in the camera settings so you can zoom out a little bit.
It's zoomed out as far as it can go. Just do the feet thing. I'll try to fix it.
Okay, I'll let you work on it. So again, leveraging your body weight is how we build up. So doing a sit-up just works a small group of muscles right here, very limited group of muscles. When you Cellercise, you're working the entire stomach wall. If you tilt your 15, 20-pound head back, you're working underneath the chin, all the way down the whole plateau, all the muscles, from the inside out, not just from the outside. Yes? Hold on one second, we're making an adjustment with the light. And just, there we go. Okay, and you can move it back a little further. Thank you, Justice. Thank you for all your patience. I've learned to go with it. I figure there's always going to be something going on. All right, so when you tilt backwards, everything is tight. That's an isometric for toning. Great. Now you want to increase the strength. You want to increase the weight on it. Jumping up and down is not going to do much. But when you tilt, alter the angle of your body, and then you do the kickouts. I mean, this right here is very intense. You're coming down leveraged. But you're not just working these muscles. The G-forces are on everything. The skin, the collagen, the fascia, the internal organs, connective tissues, muscles, bones. See the difference between doing something just, basically a sit-up versus something like this or something like this. You're coming down leveraged and you're going to become strong in an altered position. So many benefits. Okay. What diet do you suggest? Alexander writes. Seems familiar, like some of these questions we've had, but because I just answered, I know I just answered. It's more what not to eat. Don't eat too many sugars. Don't eat too much of the breads or the junk foods, and but in moderation. I like pie. I like yogurt and various different sweets. I've got a little bit of a sweet tooth, I guess, but I don't overdo it. It's more what to eat, what to add to your diet, and live foods, vegetables, fruits, grains too, but the live foods have enzymes, and those enzymes help the body to assimilate the nutrients more effectively. Ionic minerals, very important. The minerals, we're working on our new mineral supplement they're doing in the landing page now. That helps the body utilize nutrients more effectively. Very, very important. Yes, Justice?
Sylvia was wondering, is there a routine for tonight?
Is there a what?
Routine.
I'm not going to do a routine tonight, but I am going to show you what we can do to really work at improving digestion and elimination processes, which are critical for good health. So it's probably one of the top 3 messages that I can talk about. We want the lymphatic system, we want the circulatory system. We need to have good digestion elimination processes. And I don't know of anything out there that can claim to work on the smooth muscles as an exercise as effectively as what Cellercise can do. And it's important we know it. It's important we understand it. Because our longevity, as well as our ability to assimilate nutrients, to maintain better health, digestion elimination has a great deal to do with it. So we're going to do that in just a moment. We're almost done, and I'll show those movements. And we incorporate those movements into the Mr. Rebounder app so that it's all part of what we're doing every day. But I want to explain why it's so important. Okay. Rabbit writes, lifting heels is tough as I feel I may fall over. Are the heels lifted always? Or they get lifted up and down? And yes, they get lifted up and down. If you're keeping your heels up the whole time, you're going to really be working the calf muscles, but they'll get a little tighter. So you want the heels to come up and down. If your purpose is to build up the calf muscle, then you can resist letting the heels come down. You work to resist, and that's really going to work on building up the calf muscles more. But generally speaking, for health purposes, lifting the heels up and down creates the pumping action, which helps to improve circulation in the lower extremities. Yes, Justice?
Sylvia says, Dave, is good digestion important?
Sylvia writes, is good digestion important? Absolutely, it's critical. It's not just important, it is absolutely essential if we want good health. It's so important. And it's so compromised in so many ways today with the dead processed foods we eat and the chemicals and preservatives and additives and things that we're being subjected to. It can, accumulatively, it can cause health problems. So yes, it's one of the #1 most important things I believe we can be doing for our overall health and well-being is making sure that we have good digestion elimination processes so that our body can get rid of the things that it doesn't need, that it doesn't want, and it can assimilate and utilize the things that it does need and does get. And so I wanted to read something, go through this real quick. All right, so just real brief, but important. The digestive process, we talked about this a little bit before. It starts in the mouth with the enzymes in the mouth. That's when digestion begins. And far too often, what we end up doing is we eat our food so quickly that we do not get enough digestive enzymes into our food, which come from the saliva in our mouth. Those enzymes help to start the digestive process. So I know that a lot of us don't do it. But if you can be more sensitive to how you eat, you'll get better, you'll absorb better nutrients. You'll make it easier on the digestion and elimination processes. If you're chewing your food, depending on what it is, even up to 30 chews, that's a lot. You know, do 15, that's a lot. But a lot of people will take a couple chews and swallow it. It's not going to help you assimilate and the nutrients as effectively or help with the digestive process by just slapping it down and swallowing it really quickly. Chewing it up is going to help you, again, assimilate and start that digestive process and send the signals to the body so that those other processes work more effectively. Your salivary glands makes saliva a digestive juice, which moistens the food so it moves more easily through the esophagus into your stomach. Saliva also has an enzyme that begins to break down starches in your food. So that's why. It breaks down the food so we can utilize it more effectively. Then it goes down the esophagus. After you swallow, peristalsis pushes the food down your esophagus into your stomach. So it now gets into the stomach. And there's a bunch of muscles in there. Your stomach itself is going to start to work. You don't have to do it for it. It's going to do it automatically. But there's a lot of work occurring when the stomach, it doesn't just sit there and absorb the nutrients. It starts to move and digest it. The glands in your stomach lining make stomach acid and enzymes that break down food. Muscles of your stomach mix the food with these digestive juices. Now we're getting to how Cellercise is going to help a little bit. You can probably see ahead slightly on how we can help improve the ability of the body to absorb or to digest the food more effectively and to absorb those nutrients. We're coming to that. Pancreas. Your pancreas makes a digestive juice that has enzymes that break down carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So the pancreas, how do you help the pancreas do its job? The pancreas delivers the digestive juice to the small intestine through small tubes called ducts. So having those ducts, those small tubes working efficiently is going to be important. How do you do that? Cellercise, you know this. Liver. Your liver makes a digestive juice called bile that helps digest fats and some vitamins. Bile ducts carry bile from your liver to your gallbladder for storage or to the small intestine for use. Okay? So how do we improve the function of the liver? We want to make sure it's functioning well. Most exercises aren't going to deal with it. But the techniques that I've shared with you on the Cellerciser absolutely will. The gallbladder. Your gallbladder stores bile between meals. When you eat, your gallbladder squeezes bile through the bile ducts into your small intestine. So how do we help it do that? You don't want blockages in your gallbladder. You want to have it open. You want to make sure those ducts are clear. Small intestine. Your small intestine makes digestive juice, which mixes with bile and pancreatic juice to complete the breakdown of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Bacteria in your small intestine make some of the enzymes you need to digest carbohydrates. Your small intestine moves water from your bloodstream into your GI tract to help break down food. Your small intestine also absorbs water with other nutrients. That's the small intestine. The large intestine. In your large intestine, more water moves from your GI tract into your bloodstream. Bacteria in your large intestine help break down the remaining nutrients and make vitamin K. Waste products of digestion, including parts of food that are still too large, become stool, and they're passed out through the body, through the sphincter muscle. There's another muscle. Okay, so how do we address that with the Cellerciser? Well, so we've eaten the food. We wait a few minutes after a meal, and we start just gently rocking side to side. This gentle rocking side to side helps the stomach, which is also working, to move the digestive enzymes so that we can break down and begin that digestive process more effectively. And it's very common when in the body that when the stomach starts to flex and start to work, it sends a message through the intestines, they start to work, and it is not uncommon that through that chain reaction in the body to have a bowel movement 20 minutes, but within 20 minutes after you've eaten. That's common because you've got this whole network or process that's occurring. So when we're on this Cellerciser, and you've heard me say one of the most, probably the second most important physical activity I believe we can do After the baby bounce, great. Do the hip rock. Because you've got this process that's occurring within that digestive system. You've got this large intestine that comes up, kind of crosses over and drops down. So as you're rocking side to side, you're taking that colon, and it's like putting it through a little accordion movement. Just drop your shoulder, move up and down, and now you're taking that colon and you're massaging the colon. You're helping to move that food through your large intestines. Great technique. And think of what you're doing to the internal organs. The liver, the kidneys as well, the spleen, the gallbladder, the pancreas, up the adrenal, everything. As you move side to side, you're taking those internal organs, now you're massaging them. They're being massaged every day. You don't get that in a static existence on a day-to-day basis. Everything just settles, it just sits there. But the moment you move up and down, so do they. All these internal organs are moving up and down. And as you rock side to side, you help those internal organs work more efficiently. See why this movement is so important? And then the next, the gentle twist. So now as I'm gently twisting, I'm taking the colon and the intestines and I'm putting them through a little washing machine effect. This one.
How long should they do that move for him?
Yeah, they're good. Okay, with this movement here, you can do 2-3 minutes. Just gently rocking side to side for 2 to 3 minutes. That's a long time. It's not just doing 10 or 50 or 100. You're doing 2 to 3 minutes. That's going to be a lot of movement there. That's a lot of massaging for one area, but it's not one area. So it's a huge area, but you're doing it all at the same time. Fantastic. Good question. Okay, so side to side. And, great way if you have indigestion too. It can help move air from out of both ends just to help with that whole digestive enzyme and relief process. But this gentle twist, this is the one that I think if more people did every day, you think in terms of everything moving up and down and then side to side. There you got your massage on all these internal organs. I think it's critical. I think it's one of the most important movements we can do on a Cellerciser every day, and it's something that's not being addressed enough, and it's something that has improved, as I read earlier, so many people, including yours truly. It's improved my digestion, elimination processes dramatically, and it's done that, I've been doing it for years now, and I'm so grateful for it. But it helps other people too, and who's to say that there aren't more discoveries to be made or expounded upon because of the Cellercise movements with all those internal organs. It's great for the lower back. You're loosening up the lower back as well. Everything is working collectively together, but all those internal organs, all those so important, vital elements that are necessary for digestion, elimination. Now the body absorbs a lot of the nutrients through the intestinal wall. And as we're breaking it up, think in terms of how the movement up and down is helping to sift and move those nutrients more efficiently through the whole body, making it more accessible. Think about the cells as they're moving up and down, and we're moving the food, and we're helping those nutrients permeate through the cell membrane more efficiently. So the cells have more oxygen and more nutrients, and they're energized and they're able to function. When you have stronger, healthier, more efficient cells, you have a stronger, healthier, more efficient body. The problem with typical exercise is it's not generally working the entire body collectively as a whole. It can help some, but it's not going to treat the body as this whole system where everything is working collectively together. And I think, again, that just makes Cellercise, you're not missing anything. You are getting everywhere throughout the entire body. So I want you to feel good. I want you to have energy. I want you to feel healthy. I want you to have great performance. I want you to be able to enjoy your quality of life at any age. And if you do nothing more, here are the most important movements on the Cellerciser, I believe, for all of us. the health bounce, baby bounce, or wake up call for the morning, just gently moving up and down, just like this. That gentle moving up and down, that's what back flushes valves, opens up circulation, gets the lymphatic system going, gets rid of the stress and tension, opens up the circulation through the body so the body can communicate more effectively. That's what's helping to move oxygen, nutrients, and circulation to the brain, other areas of the body. That's the health bounce, baby bounce. We live on a horizontal existence all day long. We're hitting a hard surface, gravity is pulling down. All of us, you can't escape the gravity and the pounding effect and the stress and the tension that is accumulative within the body. And you go day after day, week after week, year after year, with all the stress compounding on the body. Well, you see it's taking its toll on people as they get older. We can mitigate a lot of that just by getting on it and doing the baby bounce. Yes, Justice?
Do either of those moves help with bloating?
Bloating? Yeah, I can. You bet. That's what I was saying. It can clear air out both ends. I mean, it just does. So, yeah, okay, so the baby bounce, health bounce, number one, most important. Then, do the hip rock. That hip rock, when you start to move your shoulders up and down, the colon is moving up and down. You're pumping the lymphatic system by creating that pump. It's a literal pump. You're moving up and down, which is moving fluid. Now you're pumping with the lymph system. I think that's the second most important. The pressure changes in the lymphatic system help create suction that pulls that circulation between the bones, the joints, the tissue spaces of the body, and it helps to stimulate internal organ function as well. And then doing the twist, and many of you know what inspired me to develop this movement, and that was my wife. And I've shared that story in the past, but I think that movement probably can save the health and well-being of a great many people out there for a lot of reasons. And then I would include one other movement, which I think is very important and we don't get enough of attention to, which is, especially if we're not doing a lot of long distance running or swimming, is challenging and strengthening our bronchial tubes and our lung capacity and the ability of the body to absorb oxygen more effectively. And a lot of that has to do with our ability to breathe effectively. And most people in our culture today, and you've heard me say it, they do shallow breathing every day. We go day to day and we're breathing maybe with the first 2/3 of our lung. We don't get enough oxygen to the other 1/3 of our lung, which that in and of itself, by the way, can increase metabolism, help us burn more calories and weight. But it's a real simple movement. You've seen me do it before. Just stand on the Cellerciser, be in an area that has some clear air, and as you stand up, breathe in through your mouth. As you come down, breathe out through your mouth. This is not a meditation. This is an exercise for bronchi without having to go do a lot of long distance running. But when you first start off easy, because this movement, most people, or I did, unless you do a lot of long distance running, my bronchial tubes were weaker and I sounded wheezy. But within a few weeks, it was clear. I cleared stuff out. This clears stuff out of the lungs. This helps strengthen the lungs. They help strengthen the bronchial tubes. It's an exercise without having to go out and do a lot of long distance running or swimming. And it's all done in the convenience of your home, watching television or doing a Cellercise program. But it sounds like this. Bend to the knee, stand up, breathe in, come down, breathe out. Sounds just like this. Goes. And when I'm done, you can hear the difference in my voice. I haven't changed anything. I'm talking just like I was before. But it opens up the larynx. So if you are a singer, now you can sing. You can project that voice a lot more. Try it. It's a great technique. But I've been on the phone all day today, and you could hear my voice. It was stressed. And that helps open things up. So if you're a radio announcer or you're a singer, that's going to be something that you might want to consider and experience it. But for all of us, it really helps to open up what they call diaphragmatic breathing and open up the bronchial tubes and the lungs. Simple. Guys, I've been doing this for over 30 years. I am more convinced now of the benefits than I was when I first began, and I saw the benefits back then. There's so much more to learn. So I want to thank again all of you for sharing this information with others. If there's anything you like about what we shared tonight, please give us a thumbs up. If you can share it with other people, please share it. If I can be of any help, please give us a call. We have limited Cellercisers left, I tell you, because you're the Cellercise family. Let your friends, family, people that you know about it so they don't have to wait a couple months. And for those who want to pre-order, go ahead, pre-order. It's worth the wait. You'll have something that is going to last decades. It's not a typical unit. So thank you again. Justice, were there any other questions? All right. Have a great week and be healthy, be happy, enjoy the journey, and thanks for being part of the Cellercise family. You take care.